Hey guys, this is gonna be a different type of talk, but I thought I'd try something new because this is just a channel for experimentation. So, as you can tell, I was crying earlier, and I realized it started out, I was just remembering things that were really, really positive, and then I realized the subject of this memory is not even here with us anymore. So, I just started crying because I never mourned his death, and that's what I wanted to express to you guys. All it's important to mourn, right? And I have a Muay Thai coach who his father passed away, and he never mourned his father's death, and he feels fundamentally, inherently, maybe he can't logically understand it, but he knows somewhere deep in his brain, he knows he needs to like go through the mourning process, which he hasn't, and he feels like it still screws him up. So that's just what I wanted to express to you. Like this person in my life that I was mourning just earlier, he passed away, I think, in the early 2000s. So it's been a long time. But I just remember it's at that point, I didn't realize that if this is a very significant person, even though I haven't seen him for many years, significant as in my childhood, it's probably good to mourn, right? You just don't understand these things mental health wise when you're a kid. And so, yeah, it sticks to you. And I just didn't even realize after all these years that I never mourned. And so I was just crying earlier. And I was just, because I was typing up such a positive memory and I was sending it to my uncle who, was there. And I was just crying. I'm like, oh, that person's not with us anymore. So I was just crying, and I was like, wow, I guess I should have done this when I found out that um, Sam died. And so yeah, it's crazy. It's like mourning that's almost 20 years later. Actually, it's almost exactly 20 years later in the making. So yeah, it's crazy how you're there's a reason why the body goes through the stages of mourning, the mind goes through the stages of mourning, because it's necessary. It's like getting past an injury, right? You need a specific set of steps, or getting past anything, or even positive, well, let's say building something. There's a proven set of steps, and if you don't go through it, maybe you think you're over it, but you're not really over it, right? And I think that's what I realized. So I just wanted to make this talk for any of you who follow this new channel, since this is an experiment, just a different type of vibe, maybe a more intimate vibe. Since some of you want to get to know me better, I thought I'd share this with you guys because I finally made a breakthrough. You guys know I've been going through stuff mentally, and maybe this is just one little thing in a lot of breakthroughs I'm going to have this year. But I just realized this was someone I should have mourned, and because I hadn't seen this person in a while, it didn't occur to me, gotta mourn, right? Because it was so many years. It's like 4 or 5 years since I saw. So the mind just goes, okay, well, not an important part of the life anymore. No need to mourn. But he was such a important part of my childhood. A lot of you know I spent a lot of time in Chicago. So yeah, so that's what it's about. So I encourage all of you guys, anyone watching, think on your past. Think about people who, let's say, you didn't stay in touch with, who nevertheless were important parts of your childhood or even a phase of your adulthood. And let's say they're no longer with us and you haven't really mourned them. I think it's important to mourn them. Like, be honest with yourself, and just once you realize that, your body will be ready to go through the process. And so yeah, it's cathartic, for lack of a better word. Cathartic, for those of you who aren't English speakers, just means it's a good release of a lot of things that were built up, and I didn't even realize how much I was holding back. So yeah, that's it. And I hope you guys all really take my advice to heart, because I just didn't really even know I was suppressing certain emotions, or repressing. I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, it was crazy when I was typing this memory to my uncle and I just started crying. I was like, wow, it was my last memory. It was my last memory of this person in question that I was mourning today. So it's never too late to mourn is the lesson to this, man. Okay, guys. Talk to you guys soon.